Hello, friends, and welcome to the first ever video episode of I Need Friends, a podcast about whatever. If you're not watching this and you're just listening on like Anchor or Buzzsprout or something, then that part doesn't apply to you. But if you're currently watching, this is the first one of those. So this is just going to be like any other episode, nothing special. um, Something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. If you've listened to a few of my episodes, you've probably like figured out by now that I'm an atheist. And if not, sorry to disappoint you, but I am. And just going back and looking at the Bible as an adult and not as a Christian is insane. So let's see how this video goes. It's the first time I'm doing one. I have like my laptop off to the side. So if I keep looking, like to make sure I don't look stupid. Again, if you're not watching this, that part doesn't apply to you. You won't have to be concerned about that. But if you are watching, you get to see all of my weird faces and hand gestures. And you can watch my hair like refusing to stay out of my face. What is that? Can I just and no, I don't want to put it back. I just don't. So, but yeah, so today getting into the Old Testament a little bit. God, the Christian God, he's like a psychopathic, insane murderer. It's crazy. And like some of these stories I actually knew like growing up, and like some of them I only knew part of it, but I just don't like I don't know if there is there too many lights on my glasses? Glasses? No glasses? Hmm? Glasses? No glasses? I am reading though. I might need my glasses to read. I can't see what I'm sewing. Gotta put on my glasses. I don't know. I just feel like there's like a crazy glare in my eyeballs. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go along. This is the first time. So yeah, so I just kind of want to talk about some of the like insane murders that God does in the Old Testament. And there's plenty of Christians that completely believe the Bible and believe that these stories in the Old Testament are true. So that's why we're talking about it. I was like going through and reading some of this stuff, just like what the hell. So like a few years ago, when I was like going through my deconversion and everything, and started looking at the Bible again and reading some things I hadn't read before, ugh, I couldn't believe it. And I was kind of angry that I had been taught some of this stuff as a kid and like taught that it was okay and that it was normal. And I was also upset that like, I mean, while I'm glad they weren't telling some of this stuff to children, they were leaving it out and just giving them parts of the story and like making them think that it was okay. So yeah. Anyway, let's just get right into it. So this is all stuff from the Old Testament. And so I wanted to start off with a pretty familiar story, which is when God kills all of the firstborn sons in Egypt. So this was like when the Israelites were trying to flee Egypt when they were slaves there. And God sends all these plagues, all these awful plagues, instead of just being like, hey, I could do something where they can go. Let's make this like a 10-step process. And the final one was that he was going to kill, he's going to kill all the firstborns in Egypt because, you know, why not? I'm sure they deserve it, you know. And some of them might be babies, but oh well, sorry babies, like you're going to die now because God said so. Unless you follow his very specific instructions, which is to slaughter a lamb in a very specific way and eat it in a very specific way, these detailed instructions, and then put the lamb's blood on your door frame. So, that way when the angel of death, which is godly and heavenly, when the angel of death comes, it will pass over your door, and it won't kill your firstborn. If you just had a baby, like, you're good. You're good. That baby is going to be safe, but only if you have the special lamb's blood specially put over your door. And that's how we get Passover, because the angel would pass over. And there's very oh my god, I have this like eh, God does not like leavened bread. Don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking dare come to him with some leavened bread. Look at this. Look at this. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. That seems intense. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For in this selfsame day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at even. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. My God, chill with the bread. And then you go to the next chapter and there's even more. Like, look, the bread has to be unleavened. They left all of their leaven because they're not even leavening their bread because I said, no, you can't do that. Do not leaven your fucking bread. Like, never leaven your bread. There's a lot of this in the Old Testament, in these old writings. It's just a lot of repetitive instructions. If you've ever seen Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail, when they're getting ready to throw the holy hand grenade, and he's reading the verses, and he's all like, yeah, and they ate, they feasted on quail and cereals and fruits, and one shall be the number thou shalt count, then two, then three, and just giving these specific instructions about just counting to three and not counting past three, not counting four or five, only counting three. And if you're familiar with how they talk in the Bible, there's the joke. Um, there you go. That's how you ruin a Monty Python bit right there. I just did it. I just made that like unfunny somehow. Sorry about that. But yeah, they're just like all about like, nope, no leaven. Don't you have any leaven? He's more concerned with the leaven than he is about actually getting the Israelites out of Egypt. So anyway, let's continue on with the Israelites because they get like murdered a lot. God murders a lot of his own people. These are his chosen people. According to the Bible, they're like his chosen people. And I should probably point out I'm reading from the King James version, which is, has all the these and thous. So it's, not really up to date with how we would talk about it. And it's also not quite how it was written in like Hebrew and Greek. So it's not like I think we think of the Bible being, spoken like how it is in the King James version, and it's not actually like that, but it probably is the most fun way to criticize the Bible is reading it King James version. But that's what I was taught growing up. The school that I went to, which I have a couple episodes about that, was a Southern Baptist Christian school. So we were all like King James version. Like I was in kindergarten memorizing King James verses, having no idea what they meant. So anyway, that's what I grew up learning. That's what we're reading from, in case you're wondering. There you go. Anyway, let's continue with the Israelites. Actually, look, I am prepared today. Usually I don't have my notes with me. I'll forget them when I start recording and I'm already going and I don't want to stop. And so I'll go without my notes, but I actually have them. So yay, I did it. Yeah, okay. So the Israelites. This is in Leviticus 10. We were in Exodus 12 before. Now we're in Leviticus 10. And it's God's chosen people, and they're wandering through the wilderness. This trip that it shouldn't have taken that long, but ends up taking like a really long time because they're going God's way. So they're his chosen people. They keep like fucking up and doing shit that he doesn't want them to do. So he's killing them. And there's all kinds of like crazy stories of him with the Israelites and getting pissed at them and just fucking killing them because I don't know, why not? That's how you solve your problems, I guess. When you're all powerful, you kill people instead of like coming up with a solution because you're like omnipotent and omniscient. Like, I don't know, just an idea. So it was hard for me to narrow it down. I was just trying to pick one of them, and I have a few that I really enjoy. But I went with the one where this is just so stupid. Um, Aaron was like kind of like Moses's right hand guy, who was like Moses was always talking to God and led the people out of Egypt and was leading them through the wilderness. Well, so two of Aaron's sons, after there was some big sacrifice that they did, they had to do like a burnt offering, a peace offering, a sin offering. There's all these specific instructions for how you need to kill this animal and what the animal needs to be like, and then how to cook it. Like Lord sends down like fire from heaven. It's insane. So like all that just happened, and then two of Aaron's sons were like, "Let's go to God and let's bring him an offering." And the offering that they bring him is strange fire, which is just like it's basically something that God didn't ask for. He didn't ask for the offering. He didn't ask for this specific incense or whatever to be burned. He didn't ask for any kind of fire. And they're just like, "Yeah, well, we just came to like bring you an offering." And he's like, "Get that shit out of here. I never asked you for that. Also, you're dead." Boom. And just like sets them on fire because I mean, that's the reasonable reaction. Someone gives you a gift you don't want, immediately set them on fire. That's what you should do. So, oh, and then he makes he makes the people like wrap them up and carry them out of the camp and then tells them that they can't mourn. You're not allowed to be sad that I just killed these fucking people out of nowhere for no reason. You can't be sad about that. Like, let's just get it together, you guys. Do what I say or you're dead. And then he starts talking about all these ways that like, you're going to die. Like, I think it's in the next chapter, but he's like, "Oh, if you do this thing, then you're going to die. Or if you do this thing, then you're going to die. Make sure you do this so you don't die." Like, just straight up saying, like, if you do these things or don't do these things, then I'm going to kill you. Like, those are the consequences that you're getting. Nuts. That's insane, right? Like, why? Why would you do that? Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So, and then of course, like the big one that everyone knows is the flood. We all know the story of the flood, Noah and the ark. That's the worst one. That's like the worst murder that God had, where he's just like he's looking at this world that he created, and he created all these people to be a certain way. And if you look through the passages, it's in like Genesis 6 through 9. But if you look through all the passages, he's like he keeps talking about all this violence. He looked into their hearts and he saw nothing but evil, and there was just violence, and um every imagination of the thoughts of their hearts was only evil continually. It saw the wickedness of man. And he's just talking about like the earth was filled with violence, and God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. So he goes to Noah and he's like, "Yo, make this fucking ark because I'm going to kill all these people. Like, they're all about to get wrecked. Even a bunch of these animals, too. Like, I don't know what they did, but like, fuck them also." So, like, and let's set aside the murder for a second here and look at this arc story. Let's just kind of like, let's just step off to the side a little bit here and explore that. Hmm? How? Noah's like 100 years old, like building this ship with these measurements that don't quite entirely make sense. There's one window. That's great. That's going to work out really good. Good luck there. And then they get all the animals from all over the world. Can you tell me how these ants that like only live in Ecuador, like somehow two of them, a male and a female, managed to make it across the Atlantic and get onto this ark and then make it back afterwards and still be able to inhabit that specific area. Hmm. Something's not adding up. But yeah, it's just so violent. Can you imagine just let's say this story was real and this really did happen, which if you think that this is a real story, why don't you look up and read about the Epic of Gilgamesh, which predates this. But anyway, just imagine if this were real and you're one of these people that is experiencing this. Like you're just going about living your life. Let's say you're a fucking 10-year-old kid. You're just picking up like sticks and firewood for your dad because he's like, you got to be a man and we got to provide for the family. So you're like, all right, I'm going to go get these fucking sticks and bring them to my dad. And like, oh my God, dad, it's raining. Like, how can we burn this fire? It's like raining like crazy. And like days go by and it's just raining and raining. It won't stop. And you're like, whoa, the water's like rising. Like, what do we do? We're climbing up these mountains and the water's still rising. And are we going to survive? Like, what is even happening right now? Like, this has never happened. I'm terrified. I'm 10 years old. We're out of mountain. There's only water. There's nowhere to go. We're just going to slowly die and drown. I mean, they probably more likely would have like gotten caught up in like floodwaters and drowned that way. Right. But what a terrible way to go. That sounds awful. So that was God's solution there for being like, this world that I made, I don't like the way that it turned out. And so I have to murder everyone. Sorry. But I mean, you guys, y'all are cool. Like you and your family, I fucks with y'all. So like you can get on the boat. Catches, you got to make the boat yourself. I'm I'm not making a boat. I built this whole world. I got to like redo this shit already. I got to redo humanity. Okay. I don't have time to build your ark, Noah. All right. You know how long it took me to come up with this plan in the first place? This is genius. This genius plan to murder all of my creation. I don't have time for your ark. Oh yeah, he likes killing groups of people. If he can get multiple people in one kill, he's good. He's happy. He like the more the better. It's very rare that he just targets one person. He's like, well, I mean, if I'm going to kill you, like I might as well kill your family too. I might as well kill these people that you know. And sometimes, maybe even your servants just for fun. I mean, they were just doing their job. They didn't have anything else to do. They probably were even slaves, probably didn't even want to be your servant. It's not like they applied for this job. They didn't even interview or anything. Like you just pulled them up off the streets and you're like, you work for me now. They didn't even want to be there. They get killed too, just by association, because God's just like, everything you have must be destroyed. And, that's how he handles the situations. Like, with Elisha and the bears. And if you don't know the Old Testament, you probably have heard this story because this is one of the more popular ones to talk about when you're talking about all the crazy shit in the Old Testament, all the insane violence and murder that's just constantly happening. This would be an NC-17 film. Like most theaters would not show this film if you were to like play out the Old Testament and adapt it into a movie. It would be terrible. It would be like some underground indie film that like people would show their friends for shock value, like August Underground or something like that. But so Elisha and the Bears. Okay. I'm not sure if it's Elisha, but again, when I was being taught this growing up, there was Elijah and Elisha. That's how we taught it. So that's how I say his name, Elisha. And this is in Second Kings 2. So I mean, you can look this up. It's all there. Elijah and Elisha. Did it just get darker in here, or is that me? Oh, it's the outside world. The part that's outside where there's sun, it's clouds and stuff. Look, I figured that out. I'm really smart. All right, Elijah and the bears. I swear I'm going to tell you this story. So Elijah and Elisha were a couple prophets. I think they were mostly just in Second Kings, might have been in First Kings too, but not important. They kind of did some stuff together, but like God like really favored them. Apparently would like bring one of them up to heaven. It's just it's stupid. We don't need to get into all that, but apparently Elisha was bald. Okay. And he's walking down the road. He's on a mission from God. I think he's supposed to like deliver some message or something because, God couldn't make that happen in a more expedited fashion. He had to get Elisha to go like walk and do it. So he's walking into this town and there's all these presumably teenagers. It says youth, 42 of them, in fact. And they start yelling at Elisha about his bald head. Like they don't like it. They're like, get out of here. So I actually looked this up in several different translations because the King James version is hilarious. It's go up, thou bald head. Go up, thou bald head. Is what the kids are saying. And I'm like, okay, what does that exactly come out to? So in the NIV, get out of here, Baldy. Get out of here, Baldy. And the New Living Translation is just go away, Baldy. So, Baldies aren't wanted here. And you got to be careful about who you're calling bald because God doesn't like that. God, I'm guessing from this story, if you just gauge his reaction, I'd have to say, I think God is bald and he's not happy about it. So he doesn't want to be, and he doesn't want people like, I think some of the angels maybe have said a couple things to him sometimes, like, oh God, you're looking really thin up top there. And that's how angels become demons. Don't say anything about God's bald head. Don't say anything about Elisha's bald head, because what he'll do is he'll send a bunch of bears to come attack all you kids. Actually, I think it was just 2 bears. I think he sends 2 bears to attack 42 kids, but either way, sending these bears. Now, you could argue, if you actually read the passage, you could argue that this isn't a God murder, that this was Elisha, but it does say that he curses them in the name of the Lord. He's just like, fuck you, bears, let's go. You're dead. And that's what happens. And these bears like maul them. A bear killing a teenager, it's not going to be like some quick, swift, like they're not just coming up and like slashing throats with like a claw or something. They're going to tear you apart. It's going to be a very painful, bloody, gruesome, tearing of flesh, ripping off of the limbs. It's just going to be a really disgusting, grotesque display. And so why God would choose that, I don't know. And can you imagine witnessing a grown ass man killing a bunch of teenagers for calling him bald? Like just flying off the handle and murdering a group of kids because they're saying, go away, you're fucking bald, get out of here, Baldy. Insane. And this is like a man of God. It's like this favorable guy that we're supposed to like look up to, and he's getting all upset because someone said he was bald. Get out of here. Ah, that's insane. So I'm just trying to figure out which one I wanted to save for last, because I have a couple more, but there's one that's like, this one is my favorite because this is fucked up. This shit is fucked. I can't believe this is in the Bible. I mean, most of the stuff in the Old Testament, I would probably be saying the same thing about, but there's this story of Jehoram, who was the son of Jehoshaphat, who was just one of the there's a lot that you can get into with. Anyway, I'm familiar with Jehoshaphat, so it kind of stands out to me that Jehoram is his son, but he became one of the kings, and he killed all his brothers so that he could be king, and he ruled the land not in the way that God wanted him to. He did it in the other way. And so, God doesn't appreciate that. You have to do things exactly how he wants you to, or he'll kill you. And he did kill Jehoram in like a really, really fucked up way. So he sent, here comes Elisha, Baldy, here he comes again, delivering a message. And he's like, look, Jehoram, dude, you're fucked. Like, you've been fucking up. You've been doing all this shit. Like, you killed all your brothers and they were actually better than you. Like, it says that in the Bible. You killed your brethren, which were better than you. All of them would have done a better job and you fucking killed them. You did all this shit. You've been fucking up for 8 years and God's just been letting you because of some covenant he has with David. That's neither here nor there. But now that you've been fucking up for 8 years, you're gonna die, and your family's gonna die, and all your people are gonna die, and like everyone that's worked for you is gonna die, like your sons especially, they're gonna die. But like the worst thing that you're gonna get is your asshole is gonna fall out, and then you're gonna die. Look, I'm just the messenger. It's just Elisha, the bald messenger. Don't I got it bad enough already. I'm bald. Okay. Don't get mad at me. That's just what God told me to tell you. And I've been around long enough to figure out that if I don't do what God tells me, he's going to kill me. And I don't want my asshole to fall out. So I'm going to give you this message. Sorry, Jehoram. Sounds bad. Don't think things are going to go well for you. So yeah, Jehoram's butthole falls out. Let's look at this here. This is in Second Chronicles 21. Let's see. I think I have this pulled up. I can hear my dog barking from the other room, and I hope that it's not showing up on here because then I'll probably have to like redo this whole thing. I don't have Second Chronicles 21 pulled up, so let me get this up here. All right, here we go. Jehoshaphat. The Lord would not destroy the house of David because of the covenant he made with David. Jehoram went forth in his chariots. Judah. Oh, yes. Oh, I forgot about this. This is amazing. Okay. And there came a writing to him from Elijah the prophet. Oh, it wasn't Elisha. It was Elijah. It wasn't Baldy. Sorry. Elijah might have been bald. I don't know. But it wasn't Elisha. I was wrong. It came a writing to him from Elijah the prophet saying, Thus saith the Lord God of David thy father, because thou hast not walked in the ways of Jehoshaphat thy father, nor in the ways of Asa, king of Judah, but hast walked in the way of the kings of Israel, and hast made Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to go a whoring, like to the whoredoms of the house of Ahab, and also hast slain thy brethren of thy father's house, which were better than thyself. Behold, with a great plague will the Lord smite thy people, and thy children, and thy wives, and all thy goods, and thou shalt have great sickness by disease of the bowels, until thy balls, bowels. I mean, I don't know. Something might have happened to his balls too. Until thy bowels fall out by reason of the sickness day by day. Moreover, the Lord stirred up against Jehoram the spirit of the Philistines and of the Arabians that were near the Ethiopians. So he's like sending all these people to just come like fuck up his shit and wreck his shit. And after all this, the Lord smote him in his bowels with an incurable disease. And it came to pass that in process of time, after the end of 2 years, 2 whole years, his bowels fell out by reason of his sickness. So he died of sore diseases, and his people made no burning for him, like the burning of his fathers, meaning that he wasn't honored in the way that his father kings were. Like he didn't get honored like other kings, didn't get their burials, stuff like that. The ceremonies that come because he was just so disgraced. I mean, you die with your butthole falling out. You know, it's not going to be a good situation for you. So, look, I can't remember if I came across this intentionally or accidentally, but there are actual fucking papers about what might have happened to Jehoram and what disease he likely had. So there was something on like PubMed and ResearchGate, like they both had like papers on this. So they think it was colorectal carcinoma. Did I write that down? Hold on. Colorectal carcinoma. There's like a fucking medical paper talking about like what they think happened with Jehoram and his asshole falling out of himself. So, you know, don't upset God. Okay. He's gonna smite your asshole. It's going to fall out of your body. And guess what happens when your asshole falls out of your body? You're dead. You and your asshole are both dead. All right. Let's get on to Onan. Onan is just what I say. There's all these, Hebrew, Greek, Aramaic, all these different names that have different pronunciations. So if I'm getting it wrong, you can just fuck off. Okay. So, oh, you know what? I think I have this story pulled up too, because this one might just be one that I want to read to you, because holy shit, this one is insane. This guy got killed by God for jizzing on the ground. Legit, that's why he got killed. Okay? And like, you don't believe me. This is in Genesis 38. All right, let's see. So, oh yeah, all right, this story gets like this story gets absolutely insane. Okay, why is it every time I come in and start talking a lot, my nose just starts like running like crazy? It's like a nervous thing I get or something. I don't know. Anyway, I hope I don't have like, a giant snot bubble. That would be cute, right? Cute. All right, so it's talking about just these people in these people that were related to Judah, who was just kind of like a figure in the Bible. Um, and it's talking about, sons that he had. So there were two sons, Onan and And okay, all right, let's see. She conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. That was right after And then she had another son, Shelah, and he doesn't come into the story that much. Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. Or Tamar. We're going to get to her in a second, but we're on Onan right now. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. That's what he does, you guys. And Judah said unto Onan, Go in unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. Get ready for this. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. So poor Onan, he got commanded by God to bang his brother's wife, his dead brother's wife, to impregnate her. And he pulled out at the last minute, pulled out game strong, and didn't bust in her and didn't give her his seed. And that don't fly in God's eyes. You got to die. So there he went. But things do not go well for Tamar. Like, Onan got the easy way out. All right. I mean, there's like possibly some sexual assault there. Like, was he forced to be with his brother's wife? Kind of sounds like it. So, not really great on his part either, but he just died. Like, God just killed him. And as far as we know, it was probably an instant death. He was like, boom, smited, you're gone. And that was it. It was probably that simple. But Tamar is just getting passed around this family like some sort of like sexual object. It's disgusting. So keep in mind, Tamar was first married to which was Onan's brother. All right. So she's banging him. And then he dies because God is like, yo, you're wicked. You're dead now. No chance for redemption. Bye. And then he's like, Onan, look, I killed your brother. Can you please? Sorry, I killed your brother. Can you please just go? Can you please just go have sex with his wife? Would that make you feel better about your brother dying if I let you have sex with his wife? Maybe. Come on. You like it, but there's a catch. You have to impregnate her, okay? I don't care that you're not ready to be a dad. This is happening. And so, yeah, so he dies because he doesn't want to do that. He's like, I'm not. He's like, this is good. I don't want to pull out. Like, good for her, like the way that he locked this down. But I'm not having no baby with her. Like, we just wouldn't co-parent very well together. I can already tell. So like, he had thought this out. No, that part's not in there. But okay, so Tamar been with and then she was with Onan, presumably just that one time, it seems like. But then so she's all upset and she's going to go mourn. So she goes up somewhere to Timnath, and she's like, which is just some place that it's just too long for me to get into. And she like covers her face with a veil, and she has herself like wrapped up in, I guess, like men at this time would just see like the general shape of a woman in a veil, completely covered, where they can't see her face at all. And they're like, there's a woman under there, and I probably want to do her. And they'll, just from that, there's probably some vagina under there. I'm gonna go get some. So Judah, who, keep in mind, is the father of and Onan, he comes up to Tamar and doesn't notice that it's Tamar because she's completely covered. He's not gonna check. He's like, I don't know what you look like, but I know there's definitely a lady under there, and I know that I want to fuck her. He's like, hey, are you a harlot? Look at this, check out this harlot over here. Let's do it. And she's like, well, I don't know. Like, if I'm gonna let you come in unto me, then what are you gonna give me? And he's like, oh, I'll give you these fucking bracelets, I'll give you this shit. Like, does that cover it? Like, because I'm trying to do both. Does that cover all of it, or do you need more jewelry? Like, whatever. So again, he still doesn't know that it's her. And I'm guessing she has this veil on the whole time because he never figures out that he's doing his daughter-in-law, who's already done both of his sons, probably against her will. Doesn't sound like this is something that she is agreeing to. And so look, okay, so he gets her pregnant. All right. Let's get into this. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way and said, go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, what wilt thou give me that thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? And he said, what pledge shall I give thee? And she said, thy signet and thy bracelets and thy staff that is in thine hand. And he gave it to her and came in unto her. And she conceived by him. Sorry, I keep like doing that with my nose. It's just all stuffy, okay? Bodily functions and whatnot. And she arose and went away and laid by her veil from her and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend, the Adullamite, to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, there was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Judah said, let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass, look, you gotta respect the guy. He's like, I told her that, if we did it, I'd give her this kid, which they're talking about like cattle. They're not talking about an actual kid, in case you weren't picking up on that. He's like, I told her I'd give her this kid. And so we got to make sure that she gets it. So, I mean, he's trying to make sure that she gets what she's owed. But he messes up again. We'll get to that. I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar thy daughter-in-law hath played the harlot, and also behold, she is with child by whoredom. Oh my God. And Judah said, bring her forth, and let her be burnt. Hold on a second here. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose these are, am I with child? And she said, discern, I pray thee, whose are these, the signet and bracelet and staff? And Judah acknowledged them and said, she hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah, my son, and he knew her again no more. Oh, yeah, because she was supposed to get passed to the next son. So Er's dead, Onan's dead, so now Shelah is supposed to step in. She's just going to be with all of them, but then she ends up with the father-in-law, and she has his twins. And there's this weird thing about him coming out, one of the babies coming out with a scarlet thread in his hand. It's stupid, but anyway, God. So Tamar didn't get murdered. That wasn't a God murder, but I felt like that was worth mentioning in the Onan story, that like not a good situation for her, not a good situation for a lot of these people. And this really, it's such a small, tiny part of it. I could spend hours talking about all of the fucked up shit in the Old Testament. So if you like this and you want a part two, I will happily oblige. So, if you're watching this, thanks for watching. Hope it went okay. I don't have any like professional equipment. I have to like, mess with my lighting to make it look like I have something decent. So, you'll be okay. And if you weren't watching and you were just listening, thanks for tuning in. And that's all I have for today. I always love getting feedback on my shows. So you can send me an email, I need friendspod@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram at I need friends underscore pod or on Twitter at a lady human. Um, so yeah, that's about it. Till next time. Bye, friends.